My name is CJ Alvarez. I'm an associate professor at the University of Texas at Austin. And a couple years ago, I published a book called Borderland, Border Water. And it was all about big construction projects on the US-Mexico divide. And while I was writing that book about the US-Mexico border, I became very interested in the desert through which that border was drawn. The desert, incidentally, in which I grew up in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And so I decided for my second book project to focus the parameters of that book along environmental boundaries instead of political borders, like the first book. So I decided to write this second book, tentatively titled The Arid Heart, and I'm starting from the natural boundaries of the Chihuahuan desert itself, rather than the artificial political border between the United States and Mexico, New Mexico and Texas, Chihuahua and Coahuila. Why I think this is interesting, why I think it's important, is if we start from an environment, it helps us understand the course of history in more interesting ways. Because the desert has been here for almost 10,000 years, whereas the border has only been here for 160 some years. It helps us understand the complexities of identity that so many of us grapple with today by putting it in that longer time scale and putting it in an environmental context. And I think it helps us appreciate the world around us in a different way. Part of what political borders do is they ignore environments. They plow right through them, or they turn rivers like the Rio Grande, the Rio Bravo, into borders that they never probably didn't want to be to begin with. And so looking at it from an environmental lens helps us reimagine the world around us that oftentimes we take so for granted.